which team do you think looked more vulnerable, PSG or Barcelona tonight? That is a fantastic question. I honestly think PSG. I really thought Aston Villa were going to come back and equalise things. And we were talking about how confusing it was. Obviously, with Ollie Watkins not starting, I thought that was, not that I'm the manager, but would love to have seen him play with Rashford. One thing I did love tonight was how happy Marcus Rashford looked. It's been a while since we've seen that, but nervy times for PSG, I thought, more so than Barca.
I would disagree with you a little bit there, Poppy. I think
Hold on one second, Nigel, and then you could continue. Sorry. The fans should know Poppy watches the games like this with their cell phone in her hand. So if you have any questions related to the games, you should direct them to the guys that watch them.
I don't bite back, but because Grella has made a comment like this before on one of our past shows, I've taken it into my own hands to video Grella every time that he's not watching the game. And unfortunately, my storage is full of those videos now. So
sorry, Nigel, go ahead.
You can sit back down in your chair.
No, I mean, it's understandable for Poppy to think like that in just the drama and the elements of the game of what we just saw and the momentum shift in Aston Villa. But what you got to do is you got to give credit to PSG, because we saw PSG hurt, and what they did is, we talk a lot about game management and football intelligence. There was a moment in that game where you did think Aston Villa have turned it up a gear. They're going to get that next goal. But Grella was saying and everything, he said, listen, PSG are going to slow it down. And that's what they did. They slowed it down in the right moments. They took the tempo out. You're not going to be great every single game, but you've got to see the maturity aspect, the game management.
See, for me, I never thought Dortmund had a chance to advance. I genuinely thought in moments of that match, Aston Villa could have taken it to extra time.
But this is the point, because I think for me, the first leg, we saw Aston Villa give an away performance where they were completely outplayed. And then we said, you know what, 2-1's not a bad result. And it's where we talk about that vital third goal being a difference maker. At home, they're a different team. And there's times where your goalkeeper is going to be called on. We've seen it with all the great teams when top goalkeepers get called on. And today, Donnarumma was called on, and he did his job. He pulled out some fantastic saves. That's the game of football. If PSG couldn't maintain possession in that time when they tried to take the sting out of Aston Villa, which they did, it's part of football. But with Barcelona, with Barcelona, we keep seeing how many chances Dortmund had who couldn't put into the back of the net, and it was the constant high line. That is one weakness you can clearly say that Barcelona still have, that risky high line.
But did you think it was in jeopardy?
They got a goal that I think calmed things down, but what you were getting at, PSG bringing down the temperature to the game, slowing down the tempo, I don't know if they went and they said, all right, 33 minutes left of football. Cantor scored in the 57th minute. 33 minutes left of football. They said, give me the ball. And they put Villa to sleep like that. I don't know if it was that authoritative.
Yeah, but they're showing game management. Because if you're on the pitch,
yes,
I'm telling you now, if you're on the pitch like that... But
what I want to get at, Nigel, is that it ultimately wasn't convincing for 33 minutes. All right, PSG have full control of the game. There were moments that, sure, Vitinha got back into the game because he wasn't having a good game. Yeah. And João Neves was making the tackles. And PSG got back into the game. But when PSG pushed, Villa pushed back, and they still had a couple of very close calls throughout those 33 minutes.
As much as Villa had the chances, they weren't clinical. Conce's miss was like unbelievable. Any other time, the diving header was scored that. Maatsen comes on with a volley that was going into the back of the net. The defender got in the way there. That's part of football. But you were sitting there watching it, and you said that there's always going to be a chance for PSG. You never felt PSG were ever out of the game.
I think the thing is as well, Grella, I'm surprised you haven't mentioned him yet. Donnarumma, without him tonight, I mean, he was easily next level, wasn't he? Maybe player of the match for PSG.
But I agree with Nigel on the fact that he did his job. He was fantastic. He blocked a couple balls. I mean,
he blocked a couple of balls. Come on, give him some credit.
I didn't mean it that way. I meant that like he came out on that one and smothered it. So I thought he was really good. And again, there was moments where PSG tried to take this thing out of the match and then sort of hit on the counter.
That's a big save.
But they didn't do it, and this one is one of the best saves right here.
But the biggest one, this is the defining moment here. This is when Villa had full momentum. That there is the save. And we talk about moments in game. That, for me, I felt was the biggest moment in the game.
That's a big
and he still comes big there because the confidence. That one as well, that's what I'm saying. But for me, I look at this PSG side and I said they showed every aspect. So they showed me that if the wave or the momentum goes against them, they can withstand it. They can show the character, they can show the desire, they can show everything. I can't say there's one specific tactical weakness to PSG compared to Barcelona, what we saw Barcelona with Dortmund, and it's the same thing we keep saying week in, week out. It's working for them. People say, oh, what are you talking about? It's an offside trap, it's working. No problem. But there's one time we can play that good team, and every time they time their run perfectly well, they get in 4 or 5 times, they score 4 goals. It's a different story of conversation. But PSG, I felt today, showed every aspect of a football match of what you say. Good with the ball, good without. Even when they're having an indifferent day, you've got to give credit that they got the job done. That's just my opinion on it.
Yeah, I think they suffered, and every game's not going to be from minute 0 to minute 90 a comprehensive victory, even if you're the best team in the world. We saw Barcelona suffer, we saw PSG suffer. And today in the Champions League, they put on a performance. Maybe you would have liked to have seen the front three who did get a chance. You felt like, all right, there's going to be something on a counter here.
But they
didn't put the game to bed,
They didn't,
right?
but that's the point that you made. That's what we were all talking about every time. Even when Villa had the full momentum shift, we were all saying, if PSG get it to one of their front threes, anything can happen.
Dangerous.
There's a possibility it's still dangerous. So they were still in the game.
Yeah.
And they could always get that goal.
Against a better team, they can't. It's a learning lesson, right? It's the quarterfinals of the Champions League. We're so far from crowning a champion. There's going to be more tests. Don't leave the door open. If you're suffering like that, stick the dagger and twist it. You know, like, make sure the animal's dead. Like Clint when he goes hunting, you know, like,
wow, okay.
Take care of the boar.
Okay.
Or Grella when he goes hunting and comes back with nothing. Well, what do? You use the deer down the garden?
Just to explain what kind of hunter I am, I've been on 5 hunting trips. I haven't shot a gun once.
No,
so I just go for the sunsets and the sunrises.
The whole thing is plastic, so... Animal lover over there. Maybe tweet of the day, timely reminder that Alan Shearer is 1 day younger than PSG. Can you believe this? I wasn't even sure that was accurate. Grella, how old do you think Alan Shearer is?
Alan Shearer? Is he 52 years old?
Close. I think he's 54.
Wow.
So PSG is only 54 years old. He's 55 in August. Is anyone surprised by that, or just me?
Yeah, pretty impressive. My 30th birthday, I also would like to get bought out by the Qataris. Changed my life.
What?
No, around the 30th birthday, they got bought out by the Qataris, and PSG was a night and day difference from the moment that the buyout happened. And
it's very true.
There was still always a big club who stole some top players and all that. Like, we can't disregard the history. And
playing in Cup Winners' Cup, getting to finals, not at the Champions League level.
No, but they produced some top players. The academy is one of the best in France as well. Like, I remember being a youngster and I was hearing about PSG and the academy and stuff. So,
could we have used your age for that?
Yeah, no.
No, a few years too young.
Way too young.
What about PSG in the moments today, Nico? Because it felt like, obviously, we've talked so much about Kylian Mbappe in recent years being the guy with PSG, and since his departure, it feels like now they're really spreading the wealth of attacking threats.
Yeah, definitely. I don't know if the whole game is a great picture of what PSG has been this season, but Hakimi here representing the defenders, Vitinha the midfielders, and Dembélé the forwards. Look at the distribution amongst the entire team. Obviously, the goals to the forwards is what you expect, especially when Ousmane Dembélé has been in the form of his life. But the contribution all around is sensational. And today, the one thing that is a little bit representative is the fullback scoring. This is Hakimi, by the way. On a play that PSG scores on a counterattack, he was caught up the field because of injury, but he makes his way back. And you see him out there on the right-hand side. This is the initial ball played through. And the run into the central channel. Such a difficult reference to pick up if you're a fullback. The ball's played back in by Dibu Martinez after the cross, unable to take care of that. But now look at Nuno Mendes on a broken play where Villa tries to pounce. That's Nuno Mendes. That's the left back. And the moment that PSG breaks clear, he's in, right? And again, in a similar central channel. So the center backs are coming inside. They don't know whether to pick up the wide guy, the guy on the inside, and he floats. He waits as the entire play goes forward, and he's put into that pocket, and he finishes like a 10. He has that quality on the bounce, being able to receive, orient the touch perfectly, and slot it in back post and in. Golazo.
Both Hakimi and Mendes are great strengths of this PSG side. I was saying to Nico, if you look at Hakimi's runs as well, what they do as fullbacks is their runs go inside. They don't go traditionally outside as you would. And if you talk about playing with a traditional number 9 striker, if the ball's on one side and the ball gets crossed in, they generally will be coming in that back post, that back stick area to make sure. But what they do is, because they don't have that traditional 9 and it's a front 3 and they flow a lot, they want to go in the middle of you. And Hakimi's run was perfect. He's gone literally inside because he really should have been going outside. But he goes inside, which is what Mendes do, and that's why they're such a threat, because of the style of play that they have.